What's up, everybody? This is Chris Nichols, and you're listening to an episode of the Nichols and Dimes Show featuring Josh Timpany. Enjoy.
You don't know what I'm about to do. Big explosion, get away right now. She's heating up, you're so active full. Slow down, man, I just don't know how. You don't know what I'm about.
What's up, Josh?
How's it going?
Good, man. Appreciate you coming on over and doing the pod with me.
Dude, I'm honored. Thank you very much, Chris.
Oh, dude. Well, I've been seeing your work at the gym, and so Josh and I really met each other through friends of friends at the Ocean Pacific Gym here in Pacific Beach. And he's been running through the gym with his camera and filming some pretty cool content in there, and that's really how I came to get to know who he is. But we're gonna get into all the other stuff that he's been up to, and man, it sounds like you've got a hell of a story. I'm stoked to get into it with you.
I'm excited. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, guys, let me give a quick intro on Josh. So Josh Timpany. Josh is originally from Phoenix, Arizona. Spent time growing up in Kauai, something we sort of have in common. I, of course, grew up on Oahu. But he now runs his own business as a videographer in San Diego, which specializes in fitness and lifestyle content. But he covers a bunch of other topics as well, which we'll get into. And he has got a hell of a story. So, man, dude, I think I'm excited for this conversation. I've heard some great recs from others to get you on the show. And, you know, man, let's get into it, dude. But I think we should start off with a funny aspect to this of why we're doing this at my house.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm part of my brand in the Nichols and Dimes show is to go to the people in their environment. But you said my house won't work. Could you tell me why?
Yeah, I started making, I made a decent amount of money in e-commerce during COVID. Mm-hmm. And I just accumulated so much junk. So much, like everything you could ever ask for. I lived right on the beach in a 2-bedroom apartment. It was just filled with all this stuff, and I felt like my life was cluttered. So for my 31st birthday, I threw a huge party, had all my friends come over, some people I didn't even know. And when they came in, I said, there's one rule. You cannot leave unless you take something. So there's drunk bitches walking out at like 2 o'clock in the morning with a ukulele, pots, pans, my microwave. I had 2 dudes take like the leather sofa. I mean, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and everybody has stuff and they're just leaving.
They're just moving.
The very next morning I woke up like a little bit hungover, nothing in my house. So I went and bought a van, spent about 3 months converting it, and it's been almost a year since I've been living in the van.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
So the van life. So you're of course a surfer, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Every day. As often as I can. Lately, I've been swamped with like video work, so I haven't been able to surf as much as I'd like to.
For sure.
But usually I just check the forecast. Whenever there's like good waves, I'll just look for the perfect spot, go camp out there for the night, wake up in the morning and hit it.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Where do you like to go the most in San Diego?
I want to say Blacks because the waves are the best there, but I don't like the crowd.
Yeah.
So. San Diego, I'd have to say Sunset Cliffs. Like wintertime, Sunset Cliffs, definitely.
Yeah, that's a sick spot. I've jumped off that rock before. It's sick.
Yeah, there's tons of spots there that are like not as easily accessible, so it's almost like a deterrent for other surfers. So you can score on a weekday, you know, some good waves by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult thing to, you know, get in California.
I know.
Like definitely.
It's a good point, man. Yeah, I went to school up north in Santa Clara, so I'd go to Santa Cruz throughout college, and of course, growing up on Oahu, I'd usually surf the South Shore. Yeah. But Santa Cruz definitely has its culture of surfing. And
can we like go ahead and point out that Kauai is definitely better than Oahu?
I think that's fair to say. Yeah, I think that's very fair to say.
I just like the small town vibes. I'm not a partier. And everything shuts down around 9-10 o'clock. In Oahu, it's just like, it's like San Diego, but on an island.
Yeah, it's true, man. Yeah, Kauai, I mean, some of the best surfers ever spent a lot of time on Kauai.
Andy Irons?
I was just going to say him.
That's my idol right there.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, you know, Laird, I think I forget if Laird is...
Laird lived there, so he was, I was very, very young when I lived there.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I went back and visited as often as I could.
Mm-hmm.
But according to my dad,
Yeah.
Laird was our neighbor. And he would
Really?
cruise around on this 6-wheel amphibious vehicle.
Yeah.
Like that you could, like amphibious one, like you could just roll into like a river and
Yeah.
go float along.
That sounds like him, man. He's got all kinds of toys.
Yeah.
Well, dude, let's talk about that. So I want to understand your life growing up. So you were born in Phoenix, lived there for a few years, right? And then when did you go to Kauai and how come?
So I was born in 91. There was a hurricane in 92. And, you know, like, I don't know if, like, I probably would have to talk to my dad about it, but I haven't talked to him in years. But from what I heard from my mom is that he moved away from me, my brother, and my sisters to go, like, help rebuild. And, like, he lived on a beach and, like, helped rebuild the island. And my mom was like, wait a second, you're not leaving us.
Yeah.
So she followed him out there and got a house. And then we continued to live there for 5 years.
Wow.
So from the time I was 2 until I was 6, you know, like I was very young. But after that, I guess we couldn't afford it. My mom lost her like job at the hotel. My dad went back, ran away from us again.
Oh, geez. But you guys found, how long did it take for you guys to find him when you went out there looking for him?
So my mom found him. I think this is the story. Like I said, I got to check up on it. But my mom found him on the beach.
Yeah.
Like sleeping in a tent, like in a tent, and he had this fish pond. So he would go fishing, and he like dug this like hole along the beach, and it was filled with fish. So he was just like hanging out on the beach eating fish. But he was also addicted to drugs. So like, yeah, he was addicted to meth, and I mean he still is to this day, as far as I know.
Oh wow.
But yeah, that was just like kind of his thing. He was a carpenter, and he just did drugs and like kind of did his like own thing, I guess.
I see. I was just going to ask you, why do you think he ran away? But I mean, that makes a lot more sense. And
honestly, he loved my brother, but I don't think he like used to always deny that I was his kid. Like he made my mom get like a test.
Really?
Yeah, and all that. I don't know. I think it's just we just didn't have the same interests, and he like, and my sisters weren't actually his kids, so that was they were just my half sisters.
So it was. Are they older or are they younger?
They're like 10 years older than me.
Okay.
I have two half sisters, which I consider my real sisters, and then I have a brother that passed away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the brother that your dad, you say, liked more is the one who's passed away.
Yeah.
How old were you when he died?
When he died,
Yeah.
I think, honestly don't know. I think I was like 10 or like 10, 11, 12, around that age. I don't really think about it too much. So yeah, I know it was when I was very young.
That's a hell of a childhood, dude. Holy shit.
Oh, we're not even close.
Oh man. Wow. Well,
Yeah.
geez. Well, you just set the stage pretty well. So thanks for sharing all that stuff. And,
of course,
and I'm sorry for the loss along the way. It's, it's a lot.
I feel more sorry for my mom, not me. I mean, like I was very young, and I do have memories of my brother, but I wouldn't say like, you know, they're very like diminishing. I mean, guarantee my mom has tons of memories that she'll never be able to erase.
Yeah.
But
man.
yeah, so then we moved back to Arizona, and my mom and dad were like on and off. You know, she was trying to make it work with him, and he's just a drug addict piece of shit. Beat the shit out of her.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then yeah. You got any other questions? I mean,
I have plenty of questions after all that. Yeah. I mean, my God. Yeah. So, you see, man. So, okay. So you grew up in a pretty traumatizing environment from a family standpoint.
I wouldn't say it was like a tweaker pad, but like I basically could do whatever the hell I wanted. Like my mom's trying to take care of me and my sisters, so she's working 2-3 jobs, and she did the best she could, but she was never there.
So how did your
and my dad, he was just never there. I mean, and when he was asking me for money and stuff like that.
You for money?
Yeah, he like, I remember specifically a time he woke me up at like 3:00 in the morning asking me for $20. And like I hadn't seen him in a couple weeks, and I was like, "Get out of here, dude!" And he's like, "I know your mom gave you like some allowance or something. Like, I just need $20."
Oh my gosh! Yeah. So he was basically taking it from your mom through you.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you were working, making money at this time, right? You were a kid.
I learned how to make money really fucking young, dude. Like,
okay, let's hear about this.
Do you want to hear it? All right.
Yes.
So the very first time that I learned it, you're gonna love this. This is my very first time making money and making it from just figuring it out. I was a little skater kid, like trying to escape the house, and I'd always go to the skate park. And I noticed that they had reduced bus passes for people that are under 18. They were $1.25. The adult ones were $2.50. But if you look at the bus passes, they were identical. All you had to do is just show your student ID or whatever, you get the reduced one. Yeah. So I would go and buy a reduced one, hop on the bus, and I would wait until I saw a full bus stop. I'd be the first one to get off that bus, and then I'd get into the back of the line and be like, "Yo, do you want to like buy my bus pass for $2? You save 50 cents, I make 75."
No way.
And then I'd do it over and over, and I spent, I think on one of the days I spent like a solid 8-hour a day doing it. I don't want to exaggerate about how much money I made, but I made like a lot of money for being 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Phoenix.
In Phoenix, like summertime, super hot. I was like, screw it. It was like you can only skate so much when it's 115 out, you know? So you're like, all right, well, I want to go hop on the bus because there's some air conditioning on the bus, like a little bit of like cool air.
Yeah.
So you'd ride the bus, get a little cool air, and make some money off of some random adults that you see. And
people were like cool with buying it from you?
They thought it was funny. They're like, yeah, of course. They're saving 50 cents. Why not? Yeah.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's like the perfect stage too. The theme of my podcast is I'm interviewing entrepreneurs of all different types with different stories. And I mean, that's like, I hear this type of, the people who have that type of hustle or ambition within them from an early age, quite a bit, right? And so this is definitely a theme I find in the people I talk to. It
wasn't to get things though. Like I wasn't doing it to like, oh, I want these nice shoes or anything like that. I basically at my house I was by myself. As my sisters, they were 10 years older, so they already had like boyfriends, or one of them was married, so they weren't even there. And we're talking from like 13 to 17 or whatever. Yeah. And I would invite all my friends over. They'd eat all my food. So my mom stopped getting groceries for me. She would give me gift cards to like Sonic or McDonald's. Yeah. But those didn't last that long, so I would eat them like within 1-2 days. So I was like trying to figure out ways to eat. And
because your mom really kind of left you on your own for the most part, just because she only could provide so much.
Yeah. I don't want to like bash on it because I love her. I think she's like amazing and she did what she could. Yeah, I'm not trying to like bash on her, but like,
right,
she wasn't like there because she was also, kind of chasing like a new boyfriend, or she was working 3 jobs, She just did what she could.
For sure. Well, it's hard as a single mom alone, and then a single mom with 3 jobs who's had the trauma she's dealt with your dad and your brother. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I would like go over friends' houses and like kind of wear out my welcome there. And I remember specifically one time I stole a can of soup, like from my friend, and he's like, "You're not allowed over here ever again." And it was like some chunky chicken noodle soup, dude. I know it sounds like sad and messed up, but I think it was kind of funny looking back at it. I had like a can of soup in my hoodie, and it's like bulging out, and like the kid's name was Bald Eagle, and we called him Bald Eagle. Like the profile of Bald Eagle. Yeah. And he's like, "Dude, you can't come over here anymore. You're just like stealing my food."
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's brutal. It's funny that you think it's funny though.
It is funny. It sounds messed up, but I guess like.
Did you ever reconnect with him?
You know what? I think we like follow each other on Instagram or something. Okay. Yeah, he's like a aspiring rapper that lives with his mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it is amazing how people come around in circles after the shit they've been through in life.
Yeah, we're cool.
Cool.
This is like probably like 14 years old. I don't know. Another way that we used to make money is so we needed a way to, like, my mom needed a way. She moved in with her new boyfriend, and I was probably 16 at the time, and we needed a way to pay rent on the house that I was living in.
Yeah.
So my sister had these two friends that were like fresh out of prison, like 24 years old. They moved in with me and they were paying rent. So we had the bright idea to have like keggers. So we'd invite all the high school kids over, and we would charge them $5 at the door or whatever. You know, we'd charge them money. That would pay for our rent for the entire month from one of these parties. The house would get trashed. There'd be fights. Cops get called. I think a couple times, like, one of my roommates, just like the moment that we made enough money, called the cops. And they had all the kids cleared out.
Really?
But yeah, I mean, I didn't spend much time in school. But everybody in high school loved me because I had the house that everybody could come and party and do whatever they want, smoke weed.
Sure.
Yeah. Damn.
So this was high school, right?
Middle school and high school.
Okay, middle school and high school.
Yeah.
Man, and you're pretty much living on your own with the friends you had, your sisters and
yeah.
But not, your mom was not around, really. She was on her.
She was, like, I'd see her once a week or.
But she wasn't living with you guys.
No, not at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, she was. She just had the two roommates, and she I'd see her. You know, like it wasn't like she wasn't ever around. I'd see her once a week, or she'd show up after one of the parties, look at the house, and see that it's just like. The floor's
trash.
Filled with mud, like from beer, and like I'd be trying to mop it up as she's walking through the door. Oh shit, like a deer in the headlights.
So you guys kind of were the go-to. You were hosting the parties at, you know, kind of the younger age when kids were learning about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Damn, that's wild. So, like, I guess what kind of reputation did you have in school, kind of having this unique situation with your family, sort of living on your own? And then hosting all these parties, like, as young as middle school age?
I was definitely, like, I think I was an outcast. Here's the interesting thing. Like, nowadays, like, weed's legal and it's, like, cool, I guess. But when I was in school, if you smoked weed, you were a loser. You were a nerd.
Interesting.
And I smoked a lot of weed all day, every day. I even specifically remember, like, one of these kids was like, he was like one of the cool kids. He's like, you smoke weed, you're a loser. Like, and I was like, I'm a loser because I like smoking weed. I don't know if it affected me. I don't think I was affected. I was just like, what? I could never register that if you're a pothead, then you're not cool.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's completely different now. I mean, like...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know that the culture in Arizona in general versus, like, Southern California, I'm sure, has been different historically as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so you've finished high school. Tell me about that. Like,
so I didn't finish high school. I dropped out of high school because I wanted to get a job. I wanted to make money so then, you know, I could eat and shit like that.
For sure. Because you were just kind of hustling your way throughout high school still.
Yeah, I didn't want to wear my, like, brother's, like, hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted some clothes and some food and stuff. So, like, I got a job at Subway, and it lasted me, like, 3 days. Because it was, like, coming up on 4th of July, and they're like, you got to work on 4th of July. I'm like, I'm not doing that. So they fired me. They fired me, and then I found out, like, how much money I could make selling weed and drugs.
Yeah.
So, I don't mean to brag, but I was a very successful drug dealer. Like,
okay.
I made a lot of money.
So you tried the Subway thing, 3 days, didn't work out, and then you got right into drug dealing.
I had other odd jobs. I worked at a grocery store.
Okay.
Like, worked at my grandfather's, like, wood shop for a little while, but I couldn't hold anything because I didn't want to work for anybody. I didn't want to be told when I need to show up, what I have to do.
For sure.
Yeah, so I started selling, you know, all sorts of different drugs, but the one that I made the most money off of was weed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so, wow, yeah, I mean, I don't know how detailed you can get about this stuff, but, like, how did you get started with it? And
my sister's friends that were the roommates, they could get some high quality shit. Like, it was the type of weed you'd see in dispensaries today, but at the time it was like they were getting the perp, the Afghan Kush, the Alaskan Thunderfuck, like all these just Kush.
Right.
It was, and kids in high school, like they want to smoke weed, so, and like they don't always have access to it. So I was the guy that like had the best weed, at the best price, and nobody could beat me because I was always like bought more and more and more. I had bulk.
I see. How much did you, and when you were getting started, like how much would you carry at the most you would carry at any given time? In the first like couple years of it.
So like when I had what was the most that I carried at a time?
Yeah.
I mean, like after I got out of high school, the most I ever carried was around 400 or 500 pounds.
Whoa.
But that was just transporting. So you'd get it to a spot and then no more.
Damn.
At that point in my life, I had other people selling for me. So I would pick up from a farm that was later on became a dispensary and an actual like legitimate business. But at the time there was a gray area because of state laws and federal laws conflicting. So I discovered that in California, weed was a lot cheaper. Yeah. Like, you just break it down to a gram. Like, let's say a gram in Phoenix is $25. Yeah. Well, you could get it for $5 if you just drove 6 hours, down the street. So when I discovered that, and I discovered on top of that buying in bulk, everything's cheaper. I started out small, and then it just got out of hand really quick, and I started meeting a lot of very wealthy people in Scottsdale that would buy my entire shipment.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I think that they had like underground dispensaries too. So
so they were like even
we didn't discuss details, but I'm assuming because like why would somebody that rich want that much weed?
Yeah, they were trying to resell it themselves too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
wow.
They were trying to resell it, but in a legitimate way.
For sure.
I was basically supplying the up-and-coming dispensaries in Arizona.
Wait, so what was like the legality of dispensaries in general back then? Was it just medical use?
It was only medical use. You needed a card, and there was no recreational. But you could get a card. You just pay somebody off to get a card.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then like some dispensaries were so shady. It's not even shady. Some dispensaries didn't even care.
You're right.
You just walk in and you're like, I got glaucoma.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, this is perfect for your glaucoma.
Yeah, because back then it was such a gray area with all the laws around it. And
so basically I was driving and I had a really like badass like 88 Chevy King Cab long bed 350 motor with dualies, and I would just line my bed liner up. It would be a bed liner on top of a bed liner just filled with weed. My truck broke down, so I borrowed my ex-girlfriend's grandma's car. And I couldn't fit as much as I normally would, but I had 175 pounds on me at the time.
Okay, wait, hold on. So were you always storing your whole stash in your car?
No, that was just transporting.
Gotcha. Okay.
I would just take it home.
Got it.
Put it up in the attic.
Okay.
If I didn't already have somebody to buy it, but that was rare that I ever even kept it at the house.
Yeah, you're always just trying to be moving it so that it wouldn't be sitting anywhere for too long.
It was basically like within 48 hours, it was out of my hands.
Gotcha.
So there's like that small little risk window.
Yeah. So you would always like have somewhere to take it by the time you'd pick it up, pretty much. Okay.
Yeah. I usually made sure of that because you don't want to be caught with that much weed.
No.
Yeah, so I was almost 20 years old, I think. And
so just a few years after high school, you were doing this stuff, and I assume
18, 19, yeah. 20.
I assume you were making enough money to kind of live a decent lifestyle. And
I was living a baller lifestyle.
Whoa, really? So like, what were you doing for fun? What were you doing for money?
I would get 20 of my friends and take them out to the nicest restaurant in fucking Arizona.
Unreal.
Buy them drinks, everything. And when you have that kind of money, nobody IDs you either. They're allowed to bring me bottles.
Yeah.
Like,
holy smokes.
Like the money came, but it was gone out of my hands as fast as it came, dude.
Oh, because you were just getting after it and spending it and stuff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was just having the time of my life.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly because now I look at it, if I made that kind of money, so I'd make $40,000, $50,000 per shipment. Easy.
Whoa.
Yeah. Those were some of the larger shipments.
Sure.
So you do a couple. You could do one of those and you're good for a year, you know, at the time, or you do two of them, you're good for the year. Yeah. But I fell in love with the money, so I did it over and over and over again. And what happens, you know, eventually you get caught. So
you're right.
Yeah.
Walk us through that, the next phase.
This is a good one. So I'm coming back from Central California. I drank a little bit the night before, hungover. I had my truck was broken down, so we're taking my ex-girlfriend's grandma's car. her like 1999 Saturn.
And she was with you.
No. The ex-girlfriend's grandma wasn't with us. It was just me and my ex in the car.
Okay. I mean the girlfriend. Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I need to like sleep. Like, so will you drive? I fell asleep, and we had one rule. There's border patrol checkpoints from Arizona and California. For sure. So you take the long way around. You don't go through the 8. Like, that's no.
What's the time difference of driving the long way versus the normal way?
I think it's like an extra 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You just don't. It's non-negotiable.
For sure. Yeah.
It was her birthday the next day, and she was in a hurry to get back. So she figured he's sleeping. Like, let's do it. This was the first time I ever took her with me on one. Oof. So I woke up. We're on the 8. There's a dog barking. The trunk's popped. I have a gun pointed at my head. And she's in the driver's side crying, saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I was like, it's too late now. We're going to jail. Oh, my God. So, yeah, they put us both in, like, our own little interrogation rooms. And I remember telling her, I was like, don't say anything. Like, I will man up to everything. You don't tell him that you had any knowledge of what was in that trunk. She cracked after an hour. Said, I knew there was weed in the trunk. Like, so she ended up getting 2.5 years, and I ended up getting 3.5 and some change. Wow. But I ended up getting in trouble in prison and doing a little bit more time than that. It's crazy, dude. If you get in trouble with the law, like, you're in denial when it happens. Like, the whole time I'm in county jail, I'm like, I'll be out in a month. I'll be out in 2 months. Like, they will lock you up. They will put you away, and there'll be some sad people. Yeah. There'll be some friends, family that are like sad for a little bit, but they forget about you. You get buried. Nobody will. After a year, nobody thinks about you. You're alone.
Dude, that's such a big point you make right there. Yeah. Right? Because life is short, and I mean, you could be so high in life, right? Like you're living this great lifestyle, and then you get knocked down, and everyone else is like, people just kind of move on, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable though. Like, it is. Everybody does. It's just like if you there's that family member that you haven't talked to in a while, and they're always there. You might see them during the holidays, but like when you're going about your day-to-day life, you're not thinking about, what this person's going through or anything. It might cross your mind occasionally, but everybody has their own lives, so everybody is doing their own thing.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just you.
That was I had that the first time I had that thought was when I got into a fight and they put me in the hole for the first time. It's like getting locked in your bathroom for 20 days and days on end. Lights are super dim, and they feed you twice a day. Once at like 5 o'clock in the morning, once at 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, jeez.
And then you have nothing. I mean, you can get religious texts, but after you read every religious text that you have in the prison, there's not really much else to do other than stare at the wall, maybe do some push-ups.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is just prison in general, or was this in the hole that you just referred to?
Just the hole.
Okay.
That was just a hole. So like I got into a fight. I got in quite a few fights in prison. Lost just as many as I won. I'm not a champion fighter, but most of them I didn't get caught. But the ones that I did, they put you in the hole. So the very first time, I spent 2 weeks in the hole.
God. Okay. So how far into your sentence was this?
So county jail was a year fighting the case. I want to say like a year and a half into it. So maybe the first 6 months of being on an actual prison yard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you compare county jail to the actual
Heaven and hell, man. Heaven and hell.
Really? That different?
County jail. So you got to think of it this way. The mental state of the men that are in county jail.
They think they're getting out.
No. Some of them are fighting cases of murder. Some of them are fighting cases of abuse, like these crazy cases. And what they're doing is they're putting them in this cell or a bull tank. Like, sorry, not a bull tank. It's a pod.
Yeah.
And the pod is typically about 80 people. And all of these people don't know how long they're going to be locked up for. My very first plea that they gave me was 12 and a half years with 5 years parole. That was the plea that they wanted me to take. I had a public defender. I couldn't afford a real one. And I was like, you guys are insane. Like, there's no way I'm taking that. Yeah. And then I went back to county jail, waited a month, went back. Then they gave me 8.5. Said, no way I'm taking that. Then I went back to county jail, went back to court, got 5, went back. It just like slowly went down. When they got to my final plea, is 3 years, 8 months. So that's why I say 3.5 and some change. And a 4-year parole tail. It started to look really good to me. Yeah. So I took it, and the only person in the courtroom was my mom. She's crying. Like, she's just like over in the corner crying, and like I was like, damn, this is real. Like, for weed too. That's the craziest part. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was a bad kid. I was in trouble with the law, like when I was in high school. But yeah, it was like back and forth. So they were like looking at my juvie rap sheet, and they're like, well, he just doesn't learn. Let's like, make an example out of him. Damn. Yeah.
And it was only your mom in the courtroom.
Only person that showed up.
No one else.
Yeah.
Whoa. Because you had a bunch of homies, right? Who you would take out and pay for dinners and stuff.
Yeah, I never really thought of it like that. They weren't there. Nah. Nobody was there. The whole time I was in prison. I saw a family. Saw like grandma, grandpa, and my mom. They'd come and visit me occasionally.
Really? Were they?
My mom was there. She put money on my phone. I got to talk to her once a week. So when I went to the hole, she was like, where the hell were you?
Oh, wow.
Like, worried sick.
So, like, when she would try to contact you, or you would have to call out, was it? Or would she try to contact you and they say he's not available for those 2
They
weeks?
don't tell you anything.
They don't tell her anything? Or
not that I know of. I'd have to ask her, but she just thought I fell off the face of the earth. She was the only person there for me when I was in prison. There's I had nobody, so she's the only person I talked to.
Whoa, man!
So when I went to the hole, she was like, she's like, don't ever do that again. And then I went to the hole again. So,
God, that's unreal, man. Props to your mom though for being with you through that. I mean, my goodness. And you still have a good relationship with her today?
Yeah, I love my mom so much. She's amazing. Yeah,
that's incredible. So, okay. So at this time though, would you ever? What went down with your girlfriend at the time when she went to jail for a couple of years, right? And you were of course in a different prison, right? Like, did you stay in contact with her at all? Did you resolve anything?
She reached out to me probably 2 years after I got released,
but no contact?
I could tell she was like messed up or something. I think she was doing drugs or something. We didn't talk at all. It was just like, even after we got released, there's no talking. And then she reached out and she like told me like, I still love you or something like that. Geez. And I was like, you don't understand. This is 6 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And she like wanted to get back, like not get back together, but she wanted to meet up. And then I was just like, I live in San Diego. I don't know if that's going to happen. And that was it. Yeah. That was basically it.
Yeah, because I imagine it was just assumed when she took the wheel and went the wrong way and got you guys caught that things were just done. You guys, your lives probably felt like your lives were kind of done at that point.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really give it much thought, to be honest. I didn't because the relationship that we had was primarily like revolved around money and drugs. You know, it wasn't like anything. Yeah. There wasn't anything more than that.
Yeah, that makes sense. How long were you guys dating before you guys got caught?
I don't even know. Maybe a year.
Okay.
I've only been in like long relationships. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
We can cover some more prison stories if you want.
yeah, man. I'm fascinated by
I got
this.
tons of them, but I don't know if some of them might be bad for your viewers.
Well, that's the beauty of editing, right? So
Yeah.
as long as I'm like, I'm certainly fascinated by this. But so you had wow. Okay. So 4 years about in prison, right? Could you tell me like why? So you had a 3.5 year sentence, and then you said you got it extended because you misbehaved.
Fighting. Yeah.
Just fighting. Okay. Like
Yeah.
on multiple occasions.
I was a small dude. I mean, like I wouldn't say that I'm a big dude now, but I was like 140 pounds, 6 foot tall.
Okay.
So when you're that size, you're gonna want to, and you're a kid. Like
Yeah.
I consider myself a kid at the time. A lot of like people want to challenge you.
Yeah.
So the very first thing that happens when you hit a prison yard is this thing called a heart check. A heart check is what they want soldiers to be like. It's segregated. So if you're a white boy, you get a heart check when you show up. First thing they do is they check your paperwork when you get into your cell, and then they crumble up your paperwork, and whether like they like your charges or not, you have to fight right there. 3 dudes.
Three dudes, like white guys or different.
Yeah,
race?
3
Okay.
white dudes.
Okay.
You have to fight. If you don't fight, you have to go to a protective custody yard. So it's called PCing up. Protective custody yard is where the child molesters are, the rapists, the people that beat their wives, or like
the real sickos,
the sickos, the weirdos. And if you're not willing to like, if you're not capable of like actually fighting somebody or just that physical altercation, they'll see that from beating you up, and they're gonna be like, all right, get the hell out of here, like you gotta go.
And these are the inmates making this decision?
Yes, because if there's a race war, if there's like anything, a riot, something that pops off, they want soldiers. They want people that are capable of violence. They want you to be strong, and you just can't have any bitches there.
Yeah, well, how come the inmates make that decision? Wouldn't the jail keepers make that decision?
Jail keepers don't run yards. Inmates run yards. They're just trying to get their check and get out of there. The guards are 25-year-old kids. Yeah. They're in your home. Yeah. And they're just trying to go back to theirs.
Yeah, they're trying to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Like yes, there is certain things that they have to act on, like to do their job. Like they see somebody fighting, they got to stop it. You know, somebody can't die on the yard. But they
still happens though. Right?
Oh yeah, it happens. It's not as often as people think, though. Okay. I mean, like it's not like the movies. Yeah. Most of the time, it's just dudes that are just trying to get through their time. Yeah. Like, I met some actually really good people in prison.
I can imagine.
Yeah. My best friend in prison, his name's Justin. He was married to this woman. They went to a wine party, had a couple glasses of wine. He got into a car accident, and I don't know if he killed the person or he just hurt the person really bad. I didn't get into details when I talked to him about it. He ended up doing 6 years.
Oh wow! But he was driving drunk or something.
He was, from what he told me, he wasn't drunk. He said I had a glass and a half of wine. We drove back. I got into an accident. It was rainy. Oh geez. They gave him 6 years. I think it was manslaughter. It was either manslaughter or vehicular manslaughter, something like that. Wow. But he was the most kind-hearted, intelligent people I've ever met. Like, wow. And when you're in prison, you get to know people. Yeah. You think about us being locked in this room. Yeah. For weeks and weeks on end. Yeah. You know, like the person that's in your cell you're more close to that person than you're close to your mother. Yeah, man. I mean, they know everything about you. Yeah, he was a very good dude, and there's tons of them. There's so many people. Yeah. Very sad stories, but some of the people deserved it. But I think a good chunk of the people that were in there were just some dudes trying to go get their time done over with. They're not trying to
cause more problems.
Yeah, for the most part. But that's what a heart check is.
Jeez, man. Okay, so you obviously did what you needed to do to not have to go out to the
Yeah, I was terrified. I knew that it was coming as I was bringing my stuff into my cell. I was like, it's so scary, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how big these guys are.
Yeah. And were they big, pretty scary dudes?
I convinced myself that I was going to fight.
Yeah.
So they looked at my paperwork, and then right when I saw him going to crumble it, because it's the same thing, crumble it, hit you. So right as he started to crumble, I just slid him.
Jesus, so you hit it first.
I just cranked one on him, and then his two friends just like came up and just... I just remember just like everything getting hit, and I was like, bah, bah, bah. But I landed like 1-2 punches, and then they thought it was funny. They like helped me up, and I'm like bleeding out my mouth, and they're like, "Oh, that was sick, youngster. Let's get you a burrito." And they're
no
like,
way.
like they loved it. It was fun for them.
Did you get injured at all in these fights? Like ever badly?
I've had back and shoulder issues ever since.
Okay, because like probably slamming on the floor and shit or whatever.
I dislocated my shoulder 8 times.
Fuck. What was that from like
sliced my arm open. I got I want to say shanked, but I'd have to take it off to show you. But I got poked with a concrete nail in my back.
Oh God, someone did that.
Yeah, they're like on the benches. So there's these benches that are like bolted into the concrete out on the yard, and they'll get like 10 dudes and pull as hard as they can, and they'll pull the concrete nails out, and then they go and like stash them for later.
Oh jeez.
I was in a bathroom in like just basically in the middle of an altercation of 4 dudes fighting, and somehow I got poked, but yeah, it just left like a pretty nasty scar like on my back.
Jeez. So was it frowned upon if the inmates were using any sort of weapons to fight? I mean, it might be a stupid question.
If it's white boy on white boy, yes.
Okay.
If it's against different races, anything goes. But it has to be sanctioned. It has to be an agreed upon thing between the heads of the yards. So they have like the heads of the Mexicans, the heads of the blacks, heads of the whites. I
see.
And then each one of those have different gangs.
Yeah. Wow.
So like they got Aryan Brotherhood, White Knights, the Nazis.
Yeah.
And then like for the Mexicans, they got the Norteños, the Sureños. Mm-hmm. They have the MS-13.
Yeah.
And then in Mexicans, they also have Paisas and Chicanos. And then blacks in Arizona, there's not too many, but they have Bloods and Crips.
For sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the Paisas are illegal immigrants most of the time, and they're with like the cartel.
God. Yeah.
And then Chicanos have all those other gangs.
Yeah.
but like if you want to fight somebody that's a different race, you go to the head of the yard and you're like, "Hey, I have a problem with this guy. I want to fight him."
Damn.
And he's like, "Okay, I'll go talk to the other head."
So they got to organize it.
It's an organized fight, and then they go in the bathroom, and then anything goes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then everyone's watching.
Nobody watches.
Oh really?
No. Yeah. You're in there by yourself, getting down with somebody. That's it. Nobody.
And I like, do these usually get worked out by the end of it somehow in a positive, somewhat way?
No, not those kind.
Okay.
Like if it's like if you and I decided to fight because we are both white, they would have a couple dudes watching, and if anything got too far out of hand, like someone started getting their head stomped in, then someone will come in and break it up.
Okay, but what about
unless it's discussed beforehand?
Yeah, but
like
what
we're
about,
gonna fight to the death.
So like, but seriously, how would those fights go differently? Like if you had to fight someone who's a different race, how would they end those fights?
Just tell somebody's not moving anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
I only got in one fight with somebody from a different race, and it was a sport fight. It was commissary. It's for commissary.
Okay.
So like you'd have people put up money, like I have $50 and it's snack foods.
Yeah.
Like I have $50 in snack foods. I bet my guy will beat the shit out of your guy. So there was a lot of money going on, and I fought this dude that was substantially bigger than me. This black guy that was like substantially bigger than me, and it came out pretty even actually. We both just got beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Jeez. That's a lot to take in. That's incredible though.
Yeah.
So okay. So you got out eventually after how long? Four and some change?
Yeah, it was just under 4 years.
Okay. Yeah. Just under 4 years. So what was that like, getting out, and then what did you do to get your life up and running again?
Dude, everything, and it's just I try to remind myself of this because like everything you appreciate shit so much fucking more, dude.
God,
I can't even explain to you, like, food.
Yeah.
It's just everything you eat, like something that you would consider just like, oh, whatever, I'm having some eggs. Like, like you can smell food from a freaking mile away. Women, I don't like.
Oh, man,
let me tell you a theory that
Sure.
you'll probably find it really interesting. So there's a story to it. I'm standing in medical. It's my first year in prison. There's this old guy in front of me, and he's been down for like 10 years, 15 years. He's a lifer. And he's like, you smell that, youngster?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And he's like, watch, nurses coming up. And we're like standing in this hallway.
Yeah.
And the hallway is like 50 fucking yards long. And this nurse walks around the corner right when he says it. And I was like, what the hell? How do you know that? And he's like, oh, dude, she's so bad. You see her? And she's like fat and old. And I'm like, you're gross, dude. And he was like, how long are you down for? And then I told him, and he's like, just wait until the end of your stint. You'll see.
Yeah.
So get to the end of my stint. I'm in medical. I shit you not, I could smell that same nurse come around the corner.
Whoa.
And she was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And it's because you're not in contact with women.
Yeah.
So you get out, and then you're just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter what the woman looks like, and like they could even stink.
Yeah.
It's just like the smell, the presence. I think it's something primal. I
agree. Yeah.
I think like thousands of years ago, when there was no women around, how would you find a woman? You're running through the woods. You're running through the jungle. You smell it. You sense it like a wolf.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if this is like a thing. You can look it up.
Makes sense to me. It makes sense.
But yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty weird.
Wow.
You appreciate everything.
Yeah.
So much more than you've ever appreciated it in your life. I don't know. I couldn't sleep in comfy beds for a while. I'd sleep on the floor. I'd roll around.
Yeah, wow, because you were so used to that.
That was only like 3 months of being out. I would only sleep on the floor. Like,
Okay.
I'd roll around in a comfy bed until 2:00 in the morning.
Where would you stay though? Would you go live with your mom right after that?
So my mom and my stepdad got a boat, and I lived on that for a few months until I got
boat. You went
on a boat, dude. Yeah, right there in downtown San Diego.
Oh no way! So you came
Harbor
here.
Island.
Wait, you're in jail in Arizona though?
Yes.
Okay.
So I had an option to pay like $800 to go to a different state and be released, and I had nowhere to go. My stepdad's like, you can stay on the boat for a little while till you get on your feet. So I stayed on the boat for a few months. Got like a job for a boat rental company, saved up money, and then bought my own boat. Yeah.
Wow.
And then I was living on that boat for 2 years, I think.
Okay, so like money, how'd you get money again? What kind of work were you doing?
I was a dirty boatyard rat. Okay. I was like scraping barnacles out from underneath boats. I'd like go and dive, like scuba dive and clean the bottom of boats, paint them. I did that for, I want to say 3 years, something like that. And then I caught the eye of this dude that is like a very influential dude in the boating like world. He's the Commodore of the San Diego Yacht Club, whatever that is.
For sure.
And he's a famous like racer, but he saw like that I was hardworking. I started learning about boats really quick. Started building ships. And he's like, you want to be a metal fabricator? I was like, hell yeah, I want to make shit out of metal. Like, he's like, I know you don't know how to do it, but I'll teach you how to weld. You'll learn a bunch of stuff. Wow. So I followed this dude around, and we started making modern art installations downtown, sculptures. We would work in model homes. We've built spiral staircases for the Scripps family, like at their homes. And he like took me under his wing.
That's like incredible.
Taught me the craft, and in the meantime, I bought camera equipment.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So because like it's notorious that it's widely known, right, that people get out of jail, they usually have a hard time finding a job again, right? And like, did you run into a lot of issues with that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So here's a good story. I got the job at the boat rental company, and when I talked to the guy, he liked me. He's like, don't put on your resume that you're a felon. So I didn't put it on there. I go to a Christmas party and meet the owner. The owner sees the tattoos on my hands, and he's like, you got to get rid of those. You got to start removing them. Okay. So I went and like started getting them removed.
Oh, wow.
In the middle of getting them removed, he did a background check on me, fired me.
Oh, God.
So how I ended up working at the boatyard was I was like, well, I want to keep working on boats. I live on a boat. Let's do this. So I went to Shelter Island and went to every single business and got rejected.
Wow.
It was like 6 hours. I could be exaggerating with that time, but like it was every single business. I went door to door to door to door to door, and every single one was a no. Slam the door, like no, like. And I was trying to be honest this time. I tell them I'm a felon, like I'll do anything.
Oh shit!
I get to the very last business establishment on Shelter Island. It was called Kohlercraft Boatyard.
Yeah.
I'm in the parking lot. I like get on my knees and just start crying.
Oh man.
Like it destroyed me, dude. I was like, please just like give me one fucking chance. Give me one fucking shot. I'll do anything. Wow. I wouldn't say I'm like religious, but I was praying. Yeah. I was on my fucking knees just like, this is like my last, like I was going to give up. Mm-hmm. I went in there and they said, we need someone to clean toilets. And dude, I got a lot of pride, man. Like, but I was like, okay. And I was like, I will do it under one condition. And they're like, what? And I was like, I want to learn. I was like, I want you to teach me something. Like, and he's like, you will learn so much. You will learn. By the end of working at Kohlercraft, I was pulling boats out of the water by crane, operating a travel lift, like winch, pulls boats up out of the water. I was basically like running the yard. Yeah, it didn't take long. And then we hired someone else to clean the toilets. But what's that?
So wait, who's this guy who gave you the shot? I bet this guy is a really important figure in your life, right?
He gave me a shot because he needed someone to clean his toilets for him.
For sure.
He was very cruel to his employees. Okay. He couldn't keep an employee. The only reason why he kept me is because I just did my job and didn't say anything. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But the guy that I would accredit, where I am today would be Brian Thomas with Thomas Marine, the welding shop. So
okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to ask, was he involved in the same yard or?
He would show up there occasionally because they would be contracted to do work there. So I'd, hey, what's up, Brian? Like start talking to him. He's like, I believe he's 75 years old, and like old people always have something good to say. Yeah. It's just like not a lot of people want to listen to him. And like he had the craziest stories. So every time I like saw him, I was like, tell me some more of your like crazy sailing stories about you sailing around the world. And then we kind of got close, and he said, let me show you how to make shit out of metal.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. This is great. So then you got to a point where you like you said, pretty much running the yard there, and you learned a ton of different skills in that process.
I was as high up at that yard as I could possibly go. Okay. Without like trying to take some dude that's been working there for 40 years. Like there's nowhere else to go.
Sure. I see.
On the like levels.
Yeah. So during this time, you got your camera equipment, and how did you?
Well, I was as a metal fabricator. I was buying camera equipment and like filming like the beginning and ending process of what I was making. Yeah. And I always surfed. Yeah. Throughout this entire time, I always surfed. Okay. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I can make a little extra money filming surfers. So I started out just filming for free. I'd show up on an epic day and just like film some shots. If some guy walked by and I knew that I had a clip of him, I'd be like, yo, you want to buy a clip? Yeah. They'd be like, yeah. I'd sell it for whatever. I didn't care.
So you would just film people and then come up to them after they paddle in or something and say, hey man, I got this footage of you to check it out. Do you want to buy it?
Yeah, sometimes I wouldn't make any money. I would just post it on social media and then occasionally I would get people reaching out like, hey, there's a swell coming up. Will you film me? What are your rates? And I didn't know what to charge. So I was like, $100. I'll film the entire session. Yeah. Because then I have more clips, and then I could put it on social media and get more. Yeah. And I haven't been active on the page anymore, but if you look, I have thousands and thousands of clips. I
was gonna say,
and like really good ones. Like I filmed some of the top surfers in the world. Wow. Felipe Toledo bought my clips when I met up with him in Mexico. Damn. Filmed Kelly Slater, McFanning.
Really?
Yeah, Griffin Colapinto. I filmed like all of the pros, And
really, so wait, that's a huge jump. And just so like you just randomly started buying gear. And
they weren't paying me though.
Oh, but still, like
I would show up and then film them, and then I'd use that as advertisement to get jobs from regular people
to do film work.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way you do it, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at with my podcast right now, right? Is I'm starting to get opportunities to talk to some people who are famous, and they are, you know, and I don't like I have to ask. There's no business transaction, right? It's a matter of me, you know, getting the name out there, right? Getting the show out there, and that's how you will grow to have opportunities later.
I was looking at the questions that I should be like expecting, and one of them was, what is your, hold on, I don't know if I can phrase it right.
Highlight.
What is like a life hack for
entrepreneurial life hack that's against the mainstream belief? Yeah.
And I was thinking about it over and over again, and I was like, what can I say that like people haven't already heard? But I can't think of, honestly, I can't think of anything. But there's one thing that I do know. Yeah. If you love what you do, you'll do it for free. Yeah. And if you want to make money doing what you love, you have to do it for free. It's just go and do it. How I started, like, I didn't market myself. I didn't like try to advertise, oh, I'm a videographer to anybody. I would walk into sushi restaurants and say, hey, let me film a video for you. Really? For free. And they would be like, well, who's this kid? Like, who's this guy? Like, I'm like, well, let me just make you a fire video. Yeah. I'd film them making their best California roll, and then I'd show them. And then here's what happens. If you do that, you go into hair salons, tattoo shops, restaurants, clothing businesses, and you do that, they have friends that own businesses too. They start to talk. Yeah. And when they talk, they're going to be like, wow, I want one of those too. Pretty soon, you just have emails and DMs, and over the past year, it's been
unreal, man.
I don't have the bandwidth anymore, man.
Dude, I know. Well, so you so you just hustled in your free time while doing the other jobs still.
I didn't look at it as hustling. I just looked at it as like
your hobby,
something to do. Yeah. Like you can't surf for 8 hours straight. So like if I'm having a beach day and the waves are good after I'm tired, why not just film it? Wow. Get some sun.
That's incredible, man. So when did this break through from a business standpoint? When did you, was there
like full time?
Well, yeah, well that, but my question is like, what was the defining moment that really made this your thing, that you were making a full living off of doing videography?
Oh shit. I want to say it was about 1.5 years ago. No, about a year ago. Okay. I was just like learning from an ex-girlfriend how to like get brand deals. And she helped out with that. But then I met Ken Cornell. Yeah. The owner of Ocean Pacific.
And this was after.
Yeah, the way we met was freaking insane too. All right, so I'm getting out of my wetsuit one morning.
And by the way, just for the audience, Ken, he's could you tell us who he is?
Ken is the guy that just hired me for a year ago, for content creation and marketing at Ocean Pacific Gym in PB. Okay. So I'm getting out of my wetsuit one morning and I look over, and it's probably like 7 o'clock in the morning because I surf first light. Yeah. And someone's laying on the horn. And he's yelling at somebody in front of him, come on, you fucking bitch, hurry the fuck up. And he's yelling and shit. Yeah. And my neighbor looks out the window, is like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. And I look over at him and I just go like this. And he rolls down the window and he's like, who the fuck do you think you are? I've lived here for 20 fucking years. And I was like, I don't care how long you've lived here, just keep it down. Yeah. And he's like, oh yeah? I'm gonna get somebody to come over there and kick your ass. Oh, and really? I was like, oh yeah? How about I come over there and kick your ass? Because he's an old guy. Yeah. And he's like, don't you go anywhere. I'm gonna get 3 dudes to snap your fucking neck. Damn. And I was like, I'll just snap your neck right now. And he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, fuck you. And then he drives off. That's it.
No way.
2 weeks pass by. I go in thinking I'm going to my regular gym, Shock Fitness.
Yeah.
Turns out this guy bought it. He comes around the corner with 3 dudes that could definitely snap my neck. They were like big gym rats.
Yeah.
Like some big buff dudes. And he's like a shot caller pointing shit out like, I want this done, I want that done.
Yeah.
And he looks over at me and we're like 15 feet away. And he's like, fuck you. And I'm like, fuck you.
And then 2 years later?
No, 2 weeks later.
Oh, so okay.
2 weeks later. And we just start laughing.
Yeah.
Like we're both just like, fuck you.
No way. So this was like right around the time when he bought it, basically.
Right around the time like he bought it. It was like shortly after he bought it. And,
oh my God.
And
this is going to be a good clip right here for the San Diego community.
PB
community.
He was like, he showed me like his like website. I was like, you know what? I really need work right now. Like
Yeah.
I was getting jobs, but it wasn't like enough to pay the bills. Like, and I was doing it full time. You know, like sometimes it flows in and sometimes it trickles in.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can make you like some really cool videos, help promote everything. I'll do some marketing for you. And he's like, all right, well then do it. and he's like old school. So here I am in my van, like in the parking lot of the gym.
Yeah.
I just ran up there and started filming some random guys and stuff in the gym. And then I went down in the parking lot in my van and I'm sitting there editing. I put some videos together, send it to him. And he's like, these are incredible.
Whoa.
And then I was like, here, you guys can post it on your social media or whatever.
Yeah.
The second video I made for him went viral.
Whoa.
Yeah, well, I mean, define viral. It got like 60,000 views.
It's
the
enormous.
page had 300 followers or something.
Yeah, it's incredible. So, like, could you describe that second video?
Yeah, it was this dude Connor that works at the front desk.
For sure.
He's like on the treadmill and there's like sweat dripping off of his nose, and it's like. Don't come back till you face the man in the mirror. Or something like that. Go to war with the man in the mirror. And then
God, that's hilarious, man.
I guess like a couple people saw the video and then like found out about the gym. Nobody really knew that the gym was being revamped.
Right. So they've done an unreal job in renovating it and redoing the whole thing.
Yeah, so Ken and I sat down and he was like, all right, how much would it cost for you to do it on a regular basis? I gave him my price, and I was like, I have one stipulation. I was like, I will work so hard for you, but you're never gonna tell me when I'm gonna work. And you're like, and I can work wherever I want. And I was like, I will bring you 5,000 members. And that's the promise that I have, and that's what I believe that we can get to. And since then, I think we've accumulated close to 2,000 members. Yeah. Since then, so we're getting there. We're halfway there. Yeah. We're a little over halfway there. So
and he was cool with that agreement.
Yeah. He was like, I respect that, because like most people, they're like, I just want a job. I want to work 40 hours a week. Yeah. Like that predictable thing. I never want to do that again. I did it. I cleaned toilets. Like, woke up 5 o'clock in the morning. And then hopped on my little dinghy, went across San Diego Bay in the rain to go clean toilets every day. Like, I'm not doing that shit. But I think he respected it. And then we found out like we just had a ton in common. Like, and eventually he's like, I can't pay you any more money, but I want to give you something. So he gave me the office below to work out of. So you'll find me 12 hours a day working in that office unless I'm out on a shoot. Yeah. And then when I get tired, I go crawl into my van and crash out.
Unreal, man. Well, wow. Okay, so tell us, I want to hear about your current business today outside of the gym. Okay. So like what types of filming, videography are you doing? What types of topics, sets are you going to?
Lately, I've been getting approached for a lot more short form content, but I've been doing a lot of ads and promo videos for small businesses in San Diego. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to do high production, huge brands. Yeah. First off, I really like working with small brands. It's like more handshake style deals, less complications. I don't need to hire more people to help me on sets. It's just a one man run and gun thing. I have worked on higher production with whole film crews, directing and stuff. And I realized it's not my cup of tea. It's just more, like more problems, more complications, more headaches.
You like to run the show.
And ultimately, you end up making the same amount of money doing base hits.
For sure.
I honestly just like helping out small businesses in San Diego.
Yeah,
like
I love that.
I prefer it. Because there's so many people here that have their dream. They're like pursuing their dreams and passions.
Yeah.
And like starting these little businesses, and I mean, what better like way to like do something that you love.
Yeah.
Than by helping others.
Yeah.
Like I'm able to do it all in one.
Yeah, man. I'm loving it, man. Very similar reason why I started this podcast is because I've just found such a community here, especially of small business owners, right? And the topic of this, of course, is entrepreneurship. So it's been pretty abundant in San Diego to find interesting people who have a cool thing going on, a brand or a business that they've built that they're working on.
Yeah, we're in the same business, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're a lot similar.
Yeah, no, it's fun, man, and I'm stoked to like continue to get to know you better and learn more from you about your expertise in this stuff.
Yeah. I'd love to do another one, man. This is fun.
It is fun, man. Yeah. It's sick.
I was nervous as shit at first. I don't like being in front of a camera. That's why I'm behind
That's
it.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting, actually. Yeah, like how this is what you do, but you don't like being in front of it.
There's times where I have to. I mean, you've seen the Ocean Pacific
For sure.
page. I do the little funny skits, the cringy ones that people talk crap about.
Yeah.
But I have to constantly come up with ideas and content, and it becomes overwhelming. And I don't know, sometimes it's hard to convince people to do my next crazy idea, be a part of it. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm the only one.
Yeah.
I can count on myself.
Yeah. Wow, man. Well, this is sick. Well, I'd want to ask, what are you most excited about in 2023 with how everything's been going? Because you just said you've of course had the best year ever in your business of doing videography full time.
Yeah, last year was definitely the best year I've ever done.
It's incredible.
Financially.
Yeah. I
mean, I got to travel the world and make money doing what I love to do. And last year was my first year that I made over 6 figures.
Wow.
Doing something. Doing my own thing and not selling drugs.
Yeah, dude, congratulations, man. That's such an amazing turnaround, amazing story.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But for 2023, I want to travel a lot more. My goal is I would love to just make documentaries, mini documentaries on interesting people, interesting
That'd be
lives.
sick.
Pick out an interesting person, follow them day in the life. I've done one so far, but if you don't get paid for it, it's hard to.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's sick, man.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good one, and man, I mean, obviously you work with the gym, you're kicking ass at it. I mentioned at the beginning of this show, but people listening should check out Ocean Pacific Gym and some of the videos Josh has. We'll talk about how people can find you at the end of this, but I want to ask you. Given the type of profile of person I'm looking for on the show, some people like you or people with a business they're building, someone with a unique story, right? Who thinks a certain way. Do you have anyone in mind that you think
I do?
I should bring onto the show?
I do, but I don't know if he's gonna. I haven't asked him, so I don't know if he's willing to. But
all good.
There is a videographer here in PB. He goes by Chris Yoder. He owns a company called Kirza, and he films some of the biggest artists in the world.
Hell yeah.
Goes to music festivals, travels everywhere, and his content is an inspiration to watch. It's like watching Master Yoda at work, using the Force. Wow. So I look at his videos as inspiration of what I can do someday. And I feel like he's got an interesting story. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he has a very interesting story to tell.
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, thank you for that. I'll follow up with you on that and maybe see if he's interested in doing this.
I'll convince him, maybe.
Okay, yeah, man.
I'll try.
We'll let him hear your episode, right? And, that usually gets people excited when they see the real thing. Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I mean, I'm loving the people I'm coming across in these conversations and the things that I learn and the bonding experience in it. So... yeah, man, this has been a lot of fun. how can people find you on social media, see what you're up to, if they want to work with you or see your stuff?
Yeah, so follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. It's under my name, JoshTimpany.
Okay.
So Josh Timpany.
For sure.
And my YouTube is somewhere in SoCal.
Love it. Okay, man. Well, we'll tag all that stuff too when we release the episode. But man, dude, I appreciate you coming out here to my
I
my
appreciate
crib.
it, dude.
It's fun, man. This what a hell of a
It
story.
was.
I can't wait to see how people react to this one.
Yeah, I can't wait either.
Yeah, I mean, it really. I'm not being blown smoke, but it's inspiring to hear everything you shared today.
I'm happy I didn't overshare though.
Yeah.
we didn't get too deep into the prison stories and stuff. 'Cause there could have been a slippery slope here.
For sure. Well, there's only so much you can share in 1 hour anyway. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
I just don't know how.
Thank you for joining our conversation today on the Nichols and Dimes Show. Please check out and follow my podcast Instagram at Nichols and Dimes Show. I'd love to have you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube. You can also find it on my website. I welcome and encourage any feedback you can share in the reviews so I can continue to improve and develop the show. Thanks again, and see you next time.